If you look closely in the event map, you can see some Maplestory 2 references. Very nice. Hey guys, Waffles here. Welcome back to another Maplestory event guide. Today we're going to be going over a small event that is currently going on alongside the Mechanical Hearts event. This is the Extravagameza event. And despite me saying that this event is pretty small, I would actually recommend giving this event some attention, as this event is one of the few events that has some really good items that can help optimize EXP gains and damage. While this video is on track to be the shortest event guide out of all of the events that I've done so far, we're going to be going over most of the things that you'll be seeing in this event. The long story short for this event guide is that this is not your usual event. Unfortunately, there's no quest for you to hunt mobs in order to cap coins on. Your main and only way of getting Extravagameza coins is through the minigames that are available. You're going to want to do any of the minigames that are available for part 1 or part 2 of this event. Part 1 consists of High Noon Gunslinger, Sunshower Sweet Sounds, Snowdrift Lodge, and Divine Intelligence. Part 2 will consist of the Maple Music Festival, Spot the Difference, 30-player dice, and Crazy Splash. Part 1 lasts until February the 25th, and to cap coins the fastest, you're going to want to do Sunshower Sweet Sounds for 50 coins, and then follow up with High Noon Gunslinger. Part 2 of this event starts on February the 25th, and will go on until the event ends on March the 10th. You can do Crazy Splash in order to cap coins, as you can enter as many times as you want every day. Additionally, if you do know what you're doing for MMF, you can give those a go, as you can enter those 5 times a day. And don't be afraid to jump into the scheduled minigames that happen at the 45-minute and the 15-minute mark of every hour, as they do give a bunch of coins as well. Now, for the long answer. To start this event, you're going to need to go through a simple text dialogue and accept at the very end. By doing this, you'll gain access to the event map where you'll be able to enter the minigames. By accepting this quest, you will also be able to participate in minigames that happen at the 15 and 45-minute mark of every hour. And by having access to the event map, you will also gain access to the event shop. Taking a look at this shop, we can see that there are a bunch of very good items, but do keep in mind that some of these items are purchasable per world. Many chairs are also available in the coin shop, which include the MMF chairs. These MMF chairs actually changed the background music to a remixed version of some BGMs that we've heard in the game before, and they're honestly one of my favorite chairs to sit on just for the BGM alone. I'll be putting a couple of links in the description that will showcase the BGM that will play when you sit on each chair. Below all the chairs, we can also see that there are a couple of interesting atmospheric effects and 3x EXP coupons which are purchasable daily. The 3x EXP coupons are self-explanatory and will last 15 minutes. As for the atmospheric effects, I would argue that these are some of the best items that you can pick up from this event entirely. The Ursie buff and Flicker buff last 30 minutes and will give you a 50% and 100% EXP boost respectively. And as far as I've researched, not only do these two buffs stack on top of other EXP multipliers like MVP and EXP use coupon, but also stack with each other. This means that training your main or training your Legion meals can be optimized even further with this event around. The Gymcat and Iron Rabbit atmospheric effect also lasts 30 minutes and will give you a 30 and 50 attack buff respectively. And if the EXP buffs can stack, then I see no reason for these ones not to stack as well. Now you might be thinking that, okay, well, 30 minutes of super optimized training sounds pretty good, but then you realize two things. One, these are atmospheric effects, which means if you communicate with other players who pick up these buffs, you can optimize for super long training sessions by sharing with each other. And two, these atmospheric effects are transferable within the cash shop storage. This means that for you players who share a cash shop storage with other characters that you have, you can definitely take advantage of this. On screen and in the description, these are the characters that share cash shop storage with each other. But how do you plan on getting these coins? Unfortunately, there's no such thing as a hunting quest for this event. You're going to have to do minigames in order to get coins. There are a total of 4 minigames that will be available for both part 1 and part 2 of this event. Let's start with part 1. Sunshower Sweet Sounds is a repeat after me minigame, where you'll listen to a tune that plays and then you'll be required to repeat it. Do be warned that this minigame is pretty loud, so consider turning down the volume on your computer when you first start up this minigame. By completing all the stages, you will be rewarded with 50 Extravagameza coins, plain and simple. Now if you're having trouble with this minigame, you can consider recording it and playing it back so you can remember, or you can use the chat bar to keep tabs on what notes play, assuming of course you know what notes are what. Now you can go further than stage 5, but you won't get anything for going past it, so unless you're challenging yourself for fun, you can just move on to the next minigame, which is High Noon Gunslinger. High Noon Gunslinger is a prediction minigame, in which you will be trying to predict other players' actions. The goal of this minigame is to stay on the map and not fall off. You'll be given coins based on how well you do. Now if you want to shoot fast, I can give you a tip. Q is to stay still, WASD is to move up, down, left, or right. Before the moving prompt even comes up, hold down the key of which action you want to do, and then after that, it's just point and click. Now obviously, like most other things in Maplestory, if you have the better ping, you're going to have an advantage. This is because if you shoot before someone else does and you land the hit, they won't be able to shoot for that turn. In my opinion, this is honestly one of the funnest minigames that I've played in Maple so far, especially when you get into a game with other friends. But I will warn you that this minigame requires 4 players in order to even start, which means that you may not be able to find enough players during the wee hours of the day. Snowdrift Lodge is a racing minigame, and will only be available at the 45-minute mark of every hour. Upon entering, you'll be thrown into a map with 2 other players and you'll be racing against each other down the hill. There are Extravagameza coins littered throughout the entire racetrack, so pick them up along the way. The person in the front will most likely get the most coins, which means players with good loading times will have an advantage here. Unfortunately, I don't really have any tips for this minigame other than if you see a giant coin, try and go for it and try to maintain your lead against your opponents, assuming, of course, you can load in faster than them. I personally try not to worry about the coins on the way down, as at the very bottom there is a very huge amount of coins that you can pick up. I usually prioritize these coins at the very end, which is how I'm able to get over 60 coins every time. Lastly, we have Divine Intelligence, which is a knowledge-based minigame. You'll be grouped up onto a map and guessing what mob appears on the screen. Now there are cheat sheets for this, but I have yet to find one that's updated for this event specifically. A link in the description will showcase an image that I found from a Reddit post that showcases some of the mobs that are hard to differentiate, but it doesn't have all of them. For the most part though, you can just follow the crowd all the way to the end, as getting to the end or placing your bets on a survivor can net you up to 50 coins, which is pretty nice. And believe it or not, this is pretty much everything that's going to be happening for the first 2 weeks of this event. Part 2 of this event starts on February the 25th, and I want to get some gameplay about it and do some analysis before I make an actual video about it. This event is honestly a very enjoyable event for you to kick back, relax, and have some fun with friends here and there, even if it's just another filler event. The atmospheric buffs, EXP coupons, and the hyper teleport rock that you can pick up every day make it extremely worth looking into. The minigames do require other players in order to start, which means finding other players at the wee hours can be problematic, especially for those of you who play on a server that's not Reboot or Bara. And yeah, the chairs are pretty nice to pick up, but I can't see myself getting more than 100 coins every day due to all the atmospheric buffs and EXP coupons that I'll be picking up. And for those of you players who go for MVPs in Ardent Mill, remember to say thank you to those players who pick up a Flicker or Ursie buff, as those atmospheric effects make training Legion or training your main significantly more efficient.